Welcome back to Sports Cards and a Cup of Joe. This is your host, Joe Davis, and it's great to be back with you. I hope everyone's having a great week. And today we're going to have a very chill, very laid-back episode. I'm not doing a deep dive into any analytics on the sports card industry today. We're not looking to see who's hot, who's trending, which products to buy, where to grade cards. We're talking about having fun with your sports cards, creating an environment in your man cave, your ladies' cave, whatever, putting sports cards, using sports cards to enhance your environment, whether it's where you like to work at home or you like to entertain or you like to just relax. I don't really know what that is. I rarely relax. But I do like having an area where I put some of my favorite things, toys and cards and so forth. And so we're going to talk about some ideas I've come up with. And there are plenty. I'm sure if you go on the internet and you search for sports-themed man caves, you will get countless ideas. There are companies, that's what they do for a living. They create, an experience that you can put in your man cave, put downstairs, or maybe it's upstairs, maybe you have a loft, maybe you have a spare bedroom, and that's where you've created your fun area. And some of you are saying, well, this episode's not for me, but I'm going to do my best to make it for everyone, because maybe I'm going to give you some ideas of something you can do right now. Maybe I'm going to give you some ideas of something you can do in the future. Maybe it's your office at work, maybe it's your office at home, maybe it's your man cave. Wherever it is, my encouragement is to find a little bit of space or find a lot of space and have some fun with it when it comes to your sports cards collection. Now, one thing I like to do, no matter where I work, no matter where I am creating I'm creating an experience, because I'm going to experience some fun working in that space. I always want to, as I look around my current man cave, I have scripture from God's holy word so that I can be reminded of God's goodness to me and reminded of his faithfulness to me, and to be inspired when I read those words. And I also love to have things that I collect, because it's fun, because it keeps me in tune as a collector. Even though I'm a sports card dealer, I'm a collector first. And what I mean by that is, if I lose touch with the joy of collecting, then how can I serve my clients who are collectors? If I can't understand them, how can I effectively serve them? So I love to have my own toys, games, cards, you name it, up around me, where I have created space to do that. But I'm in the middle of a renovation in my home, and here is why. A little over 5 years ago, Jane and I moved into our home, and we were we downsized from our previous home. But one thing we did love about this home that was new to us, not a new home, but new to us, was it had a really large basement. And I thought, okay, the upstairs is not as large as we are used to, but that's okay. We can do things downstairs. So I'm blessed to have a contractor who does all types of renovations, who is one of our clients at the shop. And so his team came and finished off 2 rooms in our basement. There was room to do 4, but as money allows, we were able to do 2. And so Jane and I discussed it, and she's like, you take the bigger room. It's painted blue. And she's like, and then I'll take the room next to that for like a craft room and a project room for all the things she does at our church. And she has so many just craft stuff, for lessons she teaches, for Vacation Bible School, for carnivals, for fairs, you name it. She just has a lot of cool stuff like that. So she's like, I'll take the smaller room. We painted it kind of a mauve pink type color, and so that was going to be her room. Well, any of you who know me and who have ever been to my business, been in our business, know that I run out of space very rapidly. So about 2 years ago, suddenly her room became our room, meaning I have a full room of stuff, and then suddenly my things begin to creep in and take over a little bit more space, because I have such an understanding wife, you see. So now the pink room is half my room, or I should just say it's our room that we're sharing, because I have too much stuff that I collect and deal in. And because when you're in the sports card business, and any dealer, any full-time dealer who's listening, you get it. Your home is always where you bring that next project to work on. It's, oh, hey, baby, I just bought this big collection. Sorry, I'm just going to bring it home tonight and go through it because I need to pull some cards for grading or pull some cards, to get listed. But don't worry, sugar, it's going to be fine. It will be, quick. I'm going to go through it and get this stuff back out of the house. And then 3 years later, the remains of that collection are still here, right? You know how those things happen and things accumulate. And so we finally reached a point where I spent a great deal of time cleaning up part of our basement. Took great pride in it and threw out so many things, to where I created a third room that we could use and renovate. And so our next step is we're going to finish off one more room, which is about 300 square feet, and my precious wife gets her room back, and I now have a second room. But it's going to be I'm going to do my best not to turn it into a work room. However, I can tell you I have a vision for some sports cards in that room. And I'm finally getting to the crux of what this episode is about. Because many of you, like me, have a big sports card collection. Many of you, like me, might have a big graded sports card collection. And this is especially true for those of you who have that, what I'm going to share with you. Over the years with my sports card collection, I have had countless binders full of sports cards. I've had countless 2-row boxes and 4-row boxes and 5-row boxes. But when you bring a guest over, maybe it's once a year. We used to hold a Christmas party here at my house until we got too many team members and we don't have room for them all anymore. But say you're bringing some guys over for Monday night football or Sunday night or Thursday night or Tuesday morning football, because they seem to be, there's some special football game on all the time now. But the point is, say you've invited a few guys over, or ladies, you've brought some ladies over who want to watch football with you, whatever the case may be. And when they come over, you're like, hey, I would love to show them some of my sports card collection. Well, it's not that entertaining when you bring them over and you go, look over there in the corner. And they go, yeah, that's a lot of white boxes. And you say, yep, but you know what? It's filled with sports cards. And they're like, wow, that is so cool. All those white cardboard boxes. Now, don't get me wrong. We sell thousands of white cardboard boxes for collectors to put their sports card in. And we sell them daily, pretty much. But the thing is, they are great for storage, not so great for displaying, right? So you can say, well, I'm going to put my cards in an album, which is great. You can flip through it, you can look at it, you enjoy it. Again, your guests come over. What do? Look over there. I've got 27 albums, 27 notebooks of trading cards. And they look, yes, sirree, that's a mighty fine collection of leather notebooks you have there. Again, can't really show much off, right? You can't really enjoy it yourself until you sit down and look at them. So, thankfully, there are companies out there to resolve this dilemma who can help you take your trading cards, display them in a small amount of space, and you can sit there, you can enjoy them, your guests can enjoy them. You can literally create a museum type effect with your trading cards in a small amount of space. And so as I envisioned this add-on second room to my man cave area, office area / whatever it is, I was like, how can I display a lot of my trading cards without just putting a bunch of shelves down here? And so I got this idea from a friend of mine who created a system called Show Your Slabs. And no, this is not a paid endorsement. Yes, the creator of these is a friend of mine, but he makes a lot of great products. But this is literally something I decided to do. So I was looking at this space and the area where I'm going to put a TV in has two walls on either side. So you've got a wall, you got the TV, you got another wall, and the two walls are about 16 feet apart, and the TV will be in the middle. And what's a man cave without a TV, right? And without some sofas? But I thought, okay, I'm going to find a way to display some trading cards in here as well. So I measured the walls. I had 8 lineal feet on either side before there's a break where there's a door. And then I thought, okay, well, if a couch goes here, it's about 3 feet high. And then the ceiling height, it is in a basement, so it's only about 7.5 feet. So I was like, okay, so I've got about 4.5 feet, about 54 inches of wall space where I could put something, and 8 lineal feet. So I called up Corey with Show Your Slabs. He actually worked with Zion Cases, another great company, and he's integrated his products into their product lines now. And I've used his product in our store. If you come into our store now, you will see what is called slab wall, which is this plastic wall, very thin. You mount like sheets of plastic on your wall, and they're designed, and they will hold slabs depending on what size you order. They'll hold BGS or SGC or PSA, and customers can walk up and see all these slabs up on your wall without them taking up a bunch of space in your showcases. And so I got the idea. I've done it at my store for years, and I thought, okay, here's the amount of space I've got. I've got 8 feet long and 54 inches tall. And so I called him up and I said, I've got 2 sizes of slabs that I want to display. And one is the one wall is going to be a mix of PSA and SGC slabs. And he ran the numbers, and we're going to be able to fit 228 slabs on that wall. And then I have oversized slabs, both from like postcard size, both from PSA and SGC. So they're larger slabs. So we ran the math on that, and there's room for a mix between SGC and PSA of 144. So I'm going to have some rows of PSA, some rows of SGC, and I'm actually going to border the middle. I think on one wall it's going to be SGC slabs in the middle, PSA on the top and bottom border, and then I'm going to flip that on the other wall. And so he did all the math and told me exactly how many we could fit in, and he's currently constructing a man cave slab wall for my house. And I am really excited. And Jane is probably laughing at me when I told her, like, here's what I want to do. And I'm so excited about it. And it wasn't, I want to go buy some cool cards to display. It's, no, I want to use what I already own and buy a bunch of plastic slab wall to put up. Now, you might be saying, Joe, I don't have a 300 square foot room to decorate with sports cards. I have my desk. Okay. Same concept. Maybe you've got a wall next to that desk and you want to display some sports cards there. There's one way you can do it. You can buy slab wall from Zion Cases. Another way you can do it, and this is what I've done for years, Ultra Pro now makes plastic pages that will hold 4 PSA slabs. And they're designed to be put in a 3-ring binder where you can flip through the binder and the cards snap into these pages. And that's really cool. You can flip through your binders and look at them. But what you can also do, and this is a much more affordable way if you just want to test out this process, is you can take those pages and get some Velcro strips, and the kind that don't leave residue when you take them off, and you can plop those right up on your wall, and you can be sitting at your desk and you can look up and see a wall of graded sports cards. Now, there are other ways to display sports cards. Some of you say, I don't have any graded cards. That's okay. I've seen before, say you've got a coffee table. I've seen a lot of cool things done with coffee tables. Now, you're not going to want to put your expensive cards on the top of a coffee table, but what I've seen others do is cover a coffee table with trading cards and then cut it down to where all the edges, you actually have to cut a few of the cards, sorry. But that's why you're not using expensive ones. But then you can put a coating over the cards, like a clear coating, or you can put, if that's a coffee table that has a piece of glass over it, you can put that glass over the sports cards. And then every time you sit down for your cup of coffee, your cup of Joe, I might say, you can look down and see a bunch of trading cards. So there's a lot of cool things you can do. But one thing I love about this idea I had is over the years, in various size rooms, various size offices and man caves or mini man caves. Sometimes it's been very, very many. Over the years, I've had a very limited amount of space, and often I would just put up some shelves and I could prop up a few cards on there. But then I've got the depth of the shelving that I didn't really need. And I've even, as we've renovated at our store and we've gotten rid of some older style showcases, I literally have a couple of 6-foot old school showcases in my basement right now with trading cards. And very soon I'll be freeing up that space. Now, one caveat here is if you want to follow any variation of this suggestion, you don't plop your 52 mantle up on the wall. If some of you have one, I don't. But if you have, my point is, I would not, if you have really expensive sports cards, that's not the ones I would show off. You know your home, you know your safety, you know who you're going to bring over. But I've heard many, many bad stories over the years from collectors who told me about their prized collection that they showed off. And then someone in the neighborhood, a neighborhood kid, whatever, someone came through and then suddenly some of their cards were missing. So even what I'm going to be displaying is all sub $100 cards, because I have plenty of sub $100 cards that I really love, that I really enjoy. A lot of them, for those of you who listen to my show, I'm going to have an entire wall of cartoon related trading cards. and another wall of sports cards. If you know about our new website, cartooncards.com with a Z, cartooncards.com, it's all about cartoon-related trading cards, and I have hundreds of them graded, and I'm going to have an entire row of Mickey Mouse cards and Snoopy cards and other characters that I love and that bring enjoyment to me when I watch cartoons and so forth that I've loved since I was a kid. So it's going to be an entertaining wall, I can tell you that. But my point is, if you've got multi-$1,000 cards, that's not the ones I'd prop up on your wall. It's just asking for someone who comes over to be tempted. And if someone ever broke into my house, I think they're going to be sorely disappointed because they're going to go, wow, look at all these cards. Wow, there's a $30 Mickey Mouse card. And they're going to say, why in the world did I waste my time? But it brings enjoyment to me. So that's why it'll be up there on the wall. So you can display a lot of cards and you don't need a lot of space. So the slab wall from Zion Cases is one way. Again, you can literally do this super affordably, literally with plastic, the heavy-duty plastic pages that Ultra Pro makes, the 4-pocket type. But if you're just wanting to decorate your desk, you can get single card stands, and you can display a few cards there. There are so many ways, so many options. I just saw a video. If you want to truly be blown away by a man cave, the well-known DJ Steve Aoki, I jokingly call him the co-star in the movie I was in a few years ago called Behind the Card. That, yes, it's still streaming somewhere out there. Behind the Card, I was in it, and Steve Aoki, a little bit better known than I am, and that's totally okay. But Steve Aoki has a video out on YouTube now on the PSA channel as he is now liquidating his collection, and he's going to be moving on to collecting other things, but it shows his home. And if you think a 300 square foot room man cave is large, you need to see this video. It was absolutely insane. Room after room after room of cards. And he said he's going to be liquidating his 35,000 slabs. That's right, 35,000 slabs. Everything from sports to Pokemon and beyond. So that's a lot of slabs. So he's going to be liquidating those and selling those, I believe, through PSA, through their auction service. So if you have 35,000 slabs and you need to downsize your man cave or your collection, we can help with that. So I would love to hear from you. I would love to help you with your 35,000 slabs. But this episode's not about those of us who are trying to display 35,000 slabs, because I don't know anyone who is. Like I said, I was in a movie with Steve Aoki. We never met. It was just we were both filmed at different times. But that's a big, big collection. That's a lot of grading cost, I can tell you that. But the point of this episode is have fun with your collection. I'm always amazed at those who tell me, oh, I bought a bunch of cards on eBay and I had them stored in a vault. Now, I understand it if it's a 4 or 5 figure card, whatever. Safety, I get it. You don't want that laying around your house. But a lot of times, collectors will buy cards much cheaper than that and send them straight to a vault. And I guess if they're only buying for resale, it's okay. But I'm sorry, the collector in me says, I want to see what I purchased. I actually want to enjoy it. And so that's why card collectors are different. Even card investors are different. You know, if someone has $100,000, they can go buy, a variety of stocks. Woohoo. And don't get me wrong, yes, I own some stocks, but you can't sit there and look. I guess you can look at a stock certificate, but the point is you can't read the stats. You can't sit there and flip through a notebook full of your stocks. You can't sit there and flip through slabs of your stocks. So I love to handle my collection. I love to look at cards. I love to trade cards. I love to buy and sell. I love to have my hands on them. And so if you're like me and you love to actually see what's in your collection on a regular basis and you want to handle them, or at least look at them on a wall, maybe this is some ideas for you. And I'm sure there are countless other great ideas on ways to display your cards in your home, in your office, to show off to your friends, your guests, or just enjoy it yourself. And I could probably do 10 episodes on 10 different things I love to display and look at. Again, not expensive stuff, fun little toys, trinkets, figurines, things I've collected over the years. But I'd love to hear from you. If you have ideas that I can share with our listeners, send an email to heyjoedavis@gmail.com. That's HEY Joe Davis, heyjoedavis@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your ideas and suggestions. This hobby is so fun, and there's so many ways to enjoy it. And getting to look at your cards up on a wall is one simple way, but there are so many more. So I'd love to hear your ideas. How do you have fun with your collection? I want to hear from you. So shoot me that email, and I'd love to share some of your ideas on a future episode. So thank you for listening, everyone. Hope this has given you a few ideas on how your collection can help entertain you, how your collection can, how you can be reminded of just how much fun you can have with your own collection and just with collecting in general. So thanks so much for listening, everyone. I won't be doing any more home decorating episodes in the near future, but hope you've enjoyed and gotten something out of this one. So have a great weekend or a great week whenever you're listening to this one. Remember how much Jesus loves you. Remember that I think you are awesome too. Thanks so much for listening.